Welcome in, everybody, to this episode of Horse Talk. This is season 2, episode 9. We're joined tonight by no other than Retromemolo. Welcome in.
Thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate the invite.
Yeah, dude, it's super late your time, isn't it?
It's a little after 11, man. A little night owl to action. That's all right.
Yeah, I usually see you on at like 7 o'clock in the morning on my time. Are you normally a early morning guy?
With the kids, I don't get to sleep regardless, but it's my time in the morning where everybody's either at school or my wife's at work, so nobody's home. So I take advantage of that time to stream mostly. But originally, I used to stream at night, like 9:30 was my time slot for a while. But once I went full time, mornings just seemed to be a little easier.
So you're full time at this now. I kind of knew that. I wasn't 100% sure. I know me and you've been in each other's rooms, but we haven't really talked like this ever before. So always fun to have somebody on the podcast as well to get to know them a little bit. How did you come about being full time? How long were you doing all this before you decided to go all in on it?
Yeah, so before I was a full-time reseller, I guess you could say, I was managing a rent-to-own store for like 13 years. My kids were getting older. I was never home. I was working 6 days a week, 60 hours plus, and I had the opportunity where I got to step away, and thankfully my wife was fully supportive. So I think it was like 2021 is when I went full time. I mean, I've been on Whatnot. Oh, it'll be like 5 years this year.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've always been dabbling in like selling and flipping stuff, but yeah, I would say it'll be 5 years this year for full time.
Dude, I didn't even know Whatnot was out 5 years ago. Were you like the first user ever?
N no, it's funny because, like, now I'm the old guy on Whatnot, but, like, when I started, the retro games scene was already, like, on and popping. Um, but Whatnot for me, it seemed when I first started, Whatnot was all in on the retro game scene. There was Whatnot presence at a lot of conventions, and the retro sellers were there, and there was a whole bunch of stuff. And then Whatnot found out trading cards makes a ton more money. So it seems to me like the video game scene kind of got forgotten a little bit.
Oh, gotcha. So do you dabble in the pokey?
So I just started again this year where I've been buying and selling Pokemon cards. I unfortunately was the guy that had his original cards and sold them before the boom happened. So like in 2016 was when we found out we were having our first kid, and I was like, I got to get rid of everything. I got to sell everything I have. I got to get as much money as I can have, just to be on the safe side. I sold my original Pokemon cards for like less than $100. Now,
Oh.
if I would have had them, I'd probably be tens of thousands. At least in my mind, that's what I always think, like what could have been. But yeah, I did just start getting back into flipping Pokemon cards this year.
I've had my first Pokemon journey in the last 2 or 3 months. So look, I'll start by with this statement. I don't know jack shit about Pokemon. I don't know what's a good. I know the shiny cards look cooler than the non-shiny cards, but that's about it. I decided that I was like, man, you know what? I was thinking back on like all the games I had when I was a kid. I was like, man, I wish I'd have just like kept them or like didn't open them or whatever. And I kind of thought about these Pokemon cards. I'm like, man, maybe I can just do that for my kids. So I went out and I bought like a ton of ETBs and packs and booster packs and whatever else, the hell else they call it, poster things. And dude, I got all kind of shit. But anyway, I put a tote. I got a large tote for each kid, and I wrote a note in it
Nice.
to them. It's like, dear kid, if you open this before you graduate high school, I'm gonna beat your ass. I started off with that. And then it was like, do not sell these in a yard sale, a garage sale, et cetera, et cetera. Please find out from multiple people what these are worth, not one person. Like I literally wrote all this stuff out, like step by step by step for them. And I don't know what they're going to do with them. I'm hoping in 18 years or whatever, either end of college maybe, or even into high school potentially. Maybe that'll buy them a car, or something like that. So we'll see.
I mean, definitely. I mean, I hear every year the bubble's gonna pop. But the thing is, these cards, they just get older. They don't print them again. So I mean, hell, they might even end up with a card that they could buy a house. You never know.
That's true because it could be the cards inside of the packs as well, right? And so look, the other reason why I did it kind of selfishly to an extent is I have no desire to open them, like zero. Like I don't know what's in there. I don't really care what's in there, and I always wanted to do some stuff with sealed. So I didn't even go back and buy like the old ETBs. I just bought the stuff in the last couple of years, and
Gotcha.
I got some of the Pokemon Center ones because my buddy told me some of those are good and this, that, and the other. But yeah, it's interesting, man. I can see the fascination with it, but you know what it really reminds me of? Pokemon is just legalized gambling for kids. That's what it seems like
100%.
to me. Yeah.
And it's funny you say that because that's what I was about to say. I like gambling a little bit. I'll get a scratch off here or there, but now I can do Pokemon cards, and then if I get something good, I can reinvest and get more Pokemon cards. So, but it's definitely 100% legalized gambling.
So what's like your Pokemon strategy with like modern day cards? Do you keep some sealed? Do you open all of them? Do you buy booster packs? Like I'm curious if a person that actually knows something about Pokemon, what the hell do you do with them?
So I'm not lucky enough to live in a state where there's like Pokemon vending machines or anything like that. So if I want to get stuff, I have to go and wait in line with all the other scalpers, you know? Um, I mean, obviously, you never know what set's going to be good. For me, for what I've been focusing on is just the sets I enjoy. And since I like ripping the packs and I'll do like pack battles with my oldest daughter, so it's pretty much like I'll look and see what the set list is. I'll see what the top cards are, what I want to chase, and that's kind of what we've been focusing on. Because there's a couple sets out there where the chase cards aren't worth the price to go and maybe pick up an ETB, and you're lucky to hit a card to even make your money back. I like the ones where like the chase cards 4, 5, 600 bucks, and so it's a bigger risk versus reward. Um, but as far as like sealed product, the Pokemon Center stuff is where it's at. That little stamp can take a like a $5 card and make it $100 card just because it
Hmm.
says the Pokemon Center on the card.
So do all the big ETBs that have Pokemon Center, all the cards are also labeled as the same? Okay. So what you're
Yes.
saying is going forward, I should only be buying the Pokemon Centers now that I have two totes full, right? So anything else should be center.
If you can get them, yes. I mean, the Pokemon Center stuff's definitely gonna be more valuable, and then also it depends on the set. Like the new set that I guess it's not new because Pokemon drops new sets like every month. It seems like, but the Death and Rivals set that came out, I think it's like maybe 2 or 3 sets ago. There's a lot of cards in there that even though the set's not brand new anymore, there's a lot of good chase cards just because the set is cool. Like it's got Team Rocket and it's got like a lot of cool arts and stuff. I will say, if since we're on the topic of cards, Yu-Gi-Oh for the first time ever is
Hmm.
about to drop a set that has full arts, and they look freaking sick. So I think the new Yu-Gi-Oh set's gonna be one to pick up, and I don't know if holdings long term there, but at least the initial want for the cool cards is gonna be there because they've never done a full art before.
Yeah, look, I gotta take a moment though. We actually had two sponsors for Horse Talk today, and I completely forgot that we were doing sponsors.
Cool.
It's two things. So our second time in a row, just thrifting. Thank you so much for your sponsorship tonight. You're gonna get a great gift. You're gonna get a chance on the Plinko board following the Horse Talk. And just some credits in the YouTube as well. Sweet Oreo, first time sponsor as well. Thank you so much. We should be paying Sweet Oreo versus Sweet Oreo coming in. Same thing for thrifting. My mods work really hard in this show. It gets a little out of hand at midnight. They're almost like the bouncers, you know. All the drunks come in. So I took over that midnight to 2 a.m. Central time slot. That's kind of my stomping grounds, I guess you'd say. And they've seen some stuff in here. It's been pretty funny. But thank y'all so much for the sponsoring the Horse Talk. Kudos and kudos, all the credit in the world, and I'll make sure to send you guys something really nice as well.
That's awesome. I mean, I always see them in like Monopoly show. Justin's always in my show, as well. Fantastic mods across Whatnot, and that's another thing. What I love about Whatnot and why I think Whatnot in general is just a great platform is the community aspect. Because you could sell anywhere, but the community that Whatnot brings and that you build, it just going in other people's shows is awesome.
Yeah, dude, it is really cool. At first, I was like, "What does the mod do?" And in a lot of shows, you see the model like they'll type things in the chat or whatever. Hey, check out the shop, this, that, and the other, which is good overall. But man, I've had moments in my show where I literally wouldn't be able to sell anything without them because I got 5 people asking for one item. Another guy wants to see this console. I kind of lose my track of thought pretty quickly, when 2 or 3 people are asking for something at the same time, and my mods are always there. Hey, don't forget to show them this. Don't forget to do that. Or they'll even tell them like, hey, hang tight, you're second in the queue. And sometimes I step away and I'm like, you guys are in charge. Deal, do the deals, whatever. I'm going to step out. I wish Whatnot would give us the opportunity to like grant the mods like full access as
Absolutely.
well. That would be pretty cool. I'd be like, all right, guys, you run the show tonight. I know we've been begging Sweet Oreo to do a show for well over a year at this point, so she needs to get on here. And she does have some surprise guest appearances on the Game Cabin every now and then. I don't know if you've seen any of them before, but she's been on here a few times.
Yeah, I saw she did one episode. I watched a good chunk of it.
Yeah, she was Catwoman for Halloween on the show, so that was pretty cool. We did a full fledged like I don't want to call it a skit because I felt like it was more serious than that. We did a full fledged like script for Halloween night. We had a raid train and all that. So, dude, I want to talk about raids a little bit. Raid trains particularly. Man, good, bad, ugly. What's your thoughts on them? True thoughts on them as a seller and as a buyer.
So, rate trains for me, I've seen both ends of it where they can be bad and distracting from smaller sellers. I've also seen where there's a lot of good. Where with a raid train, if it's on, it's popping. People are sticking with the raid train, and you're a new seller. You don't normally get a lot of people in your room, but you hop on this raid train and you get 80, 100 new buyers, potential new buyers sent to your room, and it's a long stream, so you get like maybe half an hour, or whatever. Um, that influx of new people can be life changing for some people. And I've had it where when I first started, and there were 3 or 4 sellers every night at the same time, and I'm competing with these guys, and I'm only bringing in 10, 15 people in my room, and I'm struggling. I hopped on a raid train, boom. Maybe your next show you've got 30 people. Then show after that, 40 people. So I think for me, raid trains are a good opportunity, especially if you're a new seller or you've stepped away for a while and you're coming back, to just get back in there and bring some new people into your room. I mean, I think one thing with Whatnot is consistency is key, especially for people to buy from you. So if you're on there consistently, same time every night, you're gonna get a following. People are gonna come. But if you're not consistent, that raid train will give that little juice that you might need to have a better night than you would have if you weren't on the raid train.
That's a really good point, man. My last one or two that I've done, I kind of had to step back after, and I was like, man, was that a marketing expense or what, did I just really do that badly, on the auctions or whatever? But then I kind of thought about it too. I was like, well, nobody's forcing you to start everything at a dollar. There are a ton of people that go through the raid trains that I know are just there for steals and steals only. And I mean, hell, as a buyer, who doesn't want to get a steal, right? On things. So I think that's my approach on them going forward. If the products do great, awesome, but you can't really expect 100 people that have been in 5 shows back to back to back to back to continue buying at the same frequency that they started on. So I'm kind of look at it more like a marketing expense, getting the name out there a little bit. I got super salty after my first one. I'm like, oh my God, I lost $300 in 30 minutes. Like, how is this even possible? But you can't really always measure, the marketing impact of people just seeing what you have and whether they enjoy listening to you talk or can't stand you or whatever. At least they'll make a decision right then and there whether they're coming back.
Yeah, what I normally do, if it's a raid train like that, I'll take maybe 20 or 25 like key items that I know, like if it doesn't go for price charting or PC or close to PC, I'm not invested that much into the item. but I'll have my bin loaded with everything. I think bins are like key to for your expensive items to because once somebody unlocks that free shipping, for me, they're more likely to spend more money on other items. So like I'll have like a loss leader. I'll have like a key item. Boom. I don't care if I lose money on this, but at least I know it's going to keep people in the show and keep them interested. And then if my bin's loaded with a bunch of other cool stuff, if I lost on 10 items, maybe somebody's going to buy that higher end item and it'll all balance out. It for me it always seems like law of averages when it comes to selling that you might lose a bit here, but then some other stuff you'll gain on and then at the end of the day as long as you find a happy balance between what you're selling, it'll kind of all balance out. But
Yeah,
I
no,
definitely understand the dollar starts are rough sometimes and
yeah,
I hate personally, I don't like when I'm in a show and they do the dollar starts and then stuff doesn't sell for what they want, and then they get kind of salty and mad and
yeah.
interact with the chat a bad way. Nobody told you to start at a dollar.
Yeah, yeah, that was definitely me on my first raid train. I'm like, "What the hell?" So, but I also was putting up like $200 to $300 items, on auction, and just
Sure.
expecting people to fork out $300 like 5 shows in a row, it's
Yeah.
not always possible, but you're right, man. My show I did last week, I just auction everything that comes in. So if I get like a tote full of stuff, I just generally run it for, a couple dollars profit for each item. So as low as I get it for cost, I run it slightly above that. And if I make a couple dollars and it moves quick, whatever. Um, well, anyway, I auctioned all that stuff off, and then I just grabbed some stuff that had been sitting on the shelf for like 3 months. I try to do that too. I'm like, man, this item's gonna sit here forever. So let's just auction it. Whatever it goes for, it goes for. And I did that. And man, I had a Double Dragon 3 in the cellophane, complete, pretty nice. They went for 50 bucks. And I was like, I'm gonna have to quit Whatnot again, just literally right there in that moment.
Ouch.
Um, However, following that show, we sold $700 out of the bin. So it kind of made up for it. You still lost $50 on that one item or $70, whatever it was. But yeah, it can come back. It can make a comeback. So it's an interesting balance between auction and bin. There are people that only want to watch auction shows. There are people that love a bin show. I think it's up to us to kind of provide a little bit of both if we can, or just try to keep it interesting. I just kind of do whatever is making me not bored at the moment. So if I've done 5 bin shows in a row with no auctioning at all, maybe just run some auctions or try to figure out a little different strategy. But man, it's tough out there. You've been doing it full time. I was like, man, what's your keys to people out there that are thinking about selling or have been selling just to survive on Whatnot?
Yeah. So I love Whatnot, and it's fantastic. You just have to make sure with what you source has to be a good margin for Whatnot. You can't
Hmm.
go out there expecting to spend 85, 90% PC and sell it on Whatnot for 100, 110, 120%. It's not it's that's not what Whatnot wants. What like buyers want to get a deal. They want to feel like they're getting a deal. They want to like shop like they're on the bay or anything like that and pay full price because they would just go there. Um, that's why it's important that you do find that balance between auctions and bins and keeping your show entertaining because eh, it's not like we're reinventing the wheel. We're selling games or we're selling whatever your niche is on Whatnot. Anybody can sell it, so you have to make sure you're adding something special to being able to sell it, whether it's your personality, whether it's dancing after every show or after every sale or push-ups, or we were just talking about that before we rated you, is that we're going to do a show where I do 10 push-ups after every sale. We'll probably end after one sale as I pass out on the floor, but um there's different ways to keep things entertaining, but as far as being successful, you have to have avenues everywhere, not just one place. Whatnot is great. There are other avenues out there to also consistently sell on. So don't just be short-sighted or have the tunnel vision that I need to get everything for a certain price and it needs to sell for a certain price. There are higher end stuff you can focus on. There are lower end stuff you can focus on. Find what works for you, but make sure you're sourcing it for a good price. So that way, when you sell that item for 30%, it's you're not crying at the end of the day losing money. We always joke the whatnot way is to buy high and sell low.
Uh-huh.
It's not sustainable. But there's just gotta be a balance there. You can always have something you can lose a little bit on that'll get people to come back. Um, but for me, I like having a full bin always, and then depending on what the day brings or what I got a good deal on, that stuff will run as an auction. And then if I'm tired of looking at something like you did, hell, let's run it for $1 and get it out because I'm tired of looking at it.
Man, I heard you put Encore out of business, man. I saw all your advertisements on Instagram, and then next thing I knew, there was no items inside the app, dude. So what the hell happened?
Yeah. So I'm gonna be honest. So I had a little bit of a deal with them where I had no seller fees. So
Huh?
they gave me like I guess they're no longer here, so I can talk about it. But I had a little bit of a contract with them where I had no seller fees. So I was like, dude, I'm gonna go in on this app. I'm gonna sell everything I can. I'm gonna list everything I can. So I would take a day and I would just throw everything that's up there that I can. I think what happened is they were trying to give sales numbers, but they weren't really making any money. For me, that app always seemed like it was there to get bought out by somebody else, and I think they just ran out of money. Is really what happened there.
Yeah, man, I can't imagine the amount of capital it takes to run something that requires so many servers and just the lone power of keeping something like that online with all the different. It's not even streamers, I guess, but it's like holding all that video, it's holding all that data. Um, the amount of advertising they did as well was pretty. I thought they were pretty good at getting their name out there. You know, I saw it on Pixel Game Squad. I saw it on all the different social media guys advertising it as well. But yeah, dude, you're right. Zero fees. Were you still making money at the zero fees, or did you not? I heard a lot of people are putting items on Encore, but the bids weren't going that high. What was your experience?
I stopped doing bids. Everything was buy it now and
Okay.
offers. Because I started originally, I was like, man, I'm in the mindset where I'm gonna do dollar starts, I'm gonna throw everything up for $1. But the buyer pool just wasn't there. But in the bin, I mean, if for example, I don't if I've even if before I still was paying seller fees, it was only 10%. But if you bin an item at 100% PC or depending on the condition, and somebody makes you an offer and it's 10% less, I mean that's still a good, you're still making money. So I just stopped doing auctions and I just binned everything. And then I'd occasionally do a giveaway because I still have like 2,000 copies of the Cameo soundtrack from the Xbox game. So I would give those away, and that would basically be my thing. And I think what happened with them too is somebody mentioned like, oh, I'm surprised like Whatnot didn't buy them out. Whatnot didn't need to because the buyer, there was already so much crossing over that there was no reason for them to even buy their customer base because they already had their customer base. Encore built it off of Whatnot's customer base.
Yeah, I see. I've been seeing eBay kind of doing similar things to Whatnot and really trying to get into that selling deal as well. It'd be really cool to check it out. I'm curious to how that's going to go down for them. So overall, but man, you talked about that Cameo CD. I was looking up there. You had sent me. I got a 12 pack from you or whatever. Me and you were in that same auction that morning, dude. It wasn't like early in the morning or something. The guy was
Yeah.
running like, man, this guy had a pallet of unopened soundtracks for games, and I mean, it was a freaking pallet. There was hundreds of cases, and I bought at least a dozen cases, and I just put all the cases on eBay in one auction.
Oh wow.
And I think I made $100. But dude, I went to pack the box, and it was like 75-pound box. Uh, so I remember I put them in like the big dog food boxes, like Chewy or whatever. You get
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
giant box. I was able to fit them all in there, but I think it was like 70 pounds. So by the time I paid the shipping, I think I made like 20, but I still made $20 and it was gone really quick. So look at you. You
Hey, there
still
you
got all
go.
yours, right?
Yeah, so my original plan with them wasn't to flip the actual soundtrack. I wanted the jewel cases because I think I ended up getting down
Uh,
to paying like 20 cents a jewel case. because you could buy replacements, uh, on Amazon. I was about to call it the rainforest because I do that when I'm selling because I don't want to
Yeah,
mention like and get
yeah.
reported or whatever. But those jewel cases because they're from like the 2000s, work great for replacement double disc cases because if you buy like the cheap ones, then they don't close properly. So I'm like, I'm paying 20 cents a disc. I'm gonna get as many CDs as I can, and hell, they'll sit there. But I sell them occasionally, singles at a time, or like I'll do the bundle up. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have Cameo with me until I'm probably gonna get buried with it. So hopefully they may do like a remaster or something, and then I can take advantage of that.
Yeah, cameos to you what Stanley Cup CIB was to me. I had 10 Stanley Cup CIBs at one time. And it got to the point where I was just giving them away. I'm like, giveaway, free CIB game. Here you go. And I had like searched down the manuals and stuff, and it still haunts me because I went through my Super Nintendo manuals the other day and I still had 8 extra manuals for Stanley Cup. And I was like, I'm never gonna get rid of this Stanley Cup thought. I probably just need to take them out of the cabinet and go burn them or something, just because I just don't want to see it anymore, you know. And it was funny because I remember Buck Willie ran one on auction probably 3 or 4 months after my Stanley Cup debacle, and everybody started roasting me. They're like, "You need that Stanley Cup. Make sure you bid on it. You only got 10 of them or whatever." And it just kept following me around, man, over and over. But you had mentioned you didn't want to get reported, so I got reported once. Have you been reported on whatnot yet?
Surprisingly, I've never been reported, and I've done some things where I probably should have been. I've toted the line a lot, but I've never officially been reported. Now somebody's gonna report me, but I've never officially been reported on whatnot.
You want to hear my reported story? It's
Absolutely.
it's pretty stupid, man. It's the worst thing to get reported on. So I did a surprise set with all, was it all purple? Yeah, it was all purple games. So purple Capcom, but there was also games like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. There was just anything that was purple in a box, right? It was all CIB.
Okay, I love it.
Every game's value was above the asking price for it. So it was actually like a really good surprise set. I just worked really hard on sourcing the stuff to where I could do that. You know, like, hey, you buy it was $100 buy-in too, and we sold out in 45 seconds. It was 10 of them, and it was gone.
That's awesome.
Well, dude, my guys and people that have been in my room know this a lot about me, but like I literally work all day. I put my kids down and I run straight back to the cabin and turn it on like the second I walk in the door. There's like no prep time or anything like
Yeah.
that. And I miscounted the games. I had 11 games on the table instead of 10. And they all got drawn and Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde was left over. And I was like freaking out. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, but the game wasn't in the list. It was just on the table. So I felt bad. You know, that game's like 100 something dollars. I think it's like $115 CIB.
Right.
So I tried to get a giveaway going and it wouldn't let me do it because I was doing a surprise set. So I literally just took down everybody that bought a spot's name, put it in a bowl, and I knew I wasn't supposed to do that. But I'm like, I'm giving away a $115 game. And I drew it and I got reported. I got reported for giving
Uh,
away $100 plus game. So
that sucks. And
yeah.
and I've seen some stuff on here, man, for mystery shows, and I've seen people get away with a lot of stuff. You're trying to do something right to your buyers, and then you get reported. And then I've seen stuff where people just keep on taking advantage of the system, and I don't know how they skirt by. So that sucks,
Yeah.
man. But good on
I
you
got
for making it right just for it being on the table.
Well, I actually threw it back on Whatnot. I told him to go rewatch the video because I was sitting there asking people like, "Why can't I get this giveaway going, guys? I don't know what to do with it. I know I gotta give this game away, whatever." And I actually got him to withdraw the comment, which took like
Oh,
5 emails back and forth. But honestly, yeah, I mean, I didn't know what to do, so I just told him I was like, "Guys, your giveaway button didn't work. Like, what do you want me to do?" It's like I tried it 3 times, like it didn't work. So was like, I had to take care of people that were hanging out. It's like they've all spent a bunch of money. So they actually did take it down, but I think we had there was a snitch in there for sure.
nice.
The guy had even mentioned something about he used to work for Whatnot, but I actually don't think that's the guy that
Mm,
sent the report. So I will say this. This kind of sucked though. I didn't tell, I guess, the whole part of that story because I didn't think about it till just now. I actually did two giveaways. I had a giveaway set for buyers already, and that one worked. No, I'm sorry, that one didn't work either. So that's when I like wrote down all the names and put them in a cup, and I drew it right. And this guy won. I call him Bob. I don't remember who it was. And then the game debacle came up, and I was like, "Oh shit, I got to do it again." Well, I pulled the name, and guess whose name it was again? It was the same dude,
Oh
Bob.
man.
So Bob twice.
Yeah.
So it looked rigged for sure. I should have just left Bob's name out of it altogether, but yeah, dude. Then I got reported. I was blowing up our group text about it. I was like, I hate whatnot. What the hell? I like give away money. I say I mess up, I give away money and I get reported. Like, what is this crap? So anyway, that was my reported story. But yeah, man, it was kind of rough. Kind of made you wonder, like, what's the point?
I get it. So in protest one time, because I saw back in the day, mystery streams used to be a little different, or surprise sets, I guess as they're called now. You used to be able to get away with a lot of things on how you ran the mystery show. But there was a lot of self-policing, at least in the retro games community. And if you had a show where it was like one hot item and then a bunch of junk, people would be like, "Oh, this is a trash show." And then I've now noticed that that's more common, especially in like the wheel spin shows where a lot of the games are lower priced. Now that you can't tell the floor, average, or ceiling price, that's a no-no now.
Yeah.
Um, and so back in the day, you do that show, and it was people would be like, "Oh, don't go to that mystery show. That's garbage. Don't do that." So in response to that, one time I had a mystery show where it was all Connect Adventures. Every game was Connect Adventures, but inside the case was the actual game that you
Oh,
won. So you'd get Connect Adventures as well, and you'd get the game. But so I did. That was my like. I probably should have got reported, but I didn't. And then like maybe like 3 months later, I did the same thing, but with Wii Fit. And that one didn't go over too well either. With a couple people, they thought I was making fun of them, and I was, but I was like you know, doing it skirting it by. I'm not naming nobody's names. I'm not dropping anything. You know who I'm talking about, basically. But it was a lot of fun. I mean, I had a lot of fun with it. I had a guy that the one guy I bought the Connect Adventures off of was like, I got cases, bro. So if you want to do the show again, just hit me up and I'll give you like a whole box of brand new Connect Adventures. So
wow.
I should probably revisit that. I should probably do another
That's a
Connect
pretty
Adventure
cool
show because
idea, man. What if you did like 10 Wii Sports, but inside of one of them was like obscure or something for a PS2 or whatever? That'd be pretty badass.
that
Uh,
would be awesome. There was I can't remember what my ceiling was, but I think it was like $100. It was back when you could do systems, so I think somebody won like a Super Nintendo, and that was like inside the. But I remember people would do like find the $20, where it'd be like a stack of $5 games, and then like whatever you'd won, they'd open it, and there'd be like money hidden inside. I don't think that's allowed anymore either, but those were always kind of fun.
I've got pretty terrible luck with mystery shows in general. I think I've gotten a decent one time, but I'm like 1 for 25 out of it. Even in like 1 out of 10, I'll come in 10 for sure. And I think Pawns was the last one I did. And then speaking of Pawn, I heard you were a part of Pawn's wedding, man.
I was. Before we go into that, I gotta say one more thing about
Yeah.
being mystery shows. I was the floor king for like the first year I was on Whatnot. I pulled so many floors. I actually felt comfortable remastering my master bedroom's floor because I was the floor king. Like
Yeah.
it was ridiculous the amount of floors I've pulled. Um, and so I get that. I could completely relate with pulling pulling crap in a mystery show.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I think the last 2 I got was championship bowling and, joust. I think was my
oh,
last 2,
ouch.
overall or something like that. But, man, it's the gambling, right? That's that little
Oh yeah.
gambling part of you that wants to do it. The last one that I did, I've done a few of them, but the last one I did was all purple Capcom and then, like, a few, like, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. There was a couple other purple games. I'm trying to remember what they were, but they were pretty expensive. And I was like, man, I had never seen a mystery show where every single item was a hit, and that was my
Mm.
goal. Was like, let's see how that goes. And then I told my buddies, I'm like, "Hey, I'm gonna do $100 buy-in on it." And every game is pretty close to 100. Most of them are well over 100. There was a couple $200 games in there too. I think there was like one game that was like 70, one game was 80, and there was like a game I think that was 60 was the floor. Um, and there was a lot of debate on whether it would even sell. They're like, "You might be there all night, bro." I'm like, "All night." Yeah, dude, it went 45 seconds and it was
That's
gone.
awesome.
So I kind of want to redo it, but I was looking at my inventory. I'm not quite. I don't. I could probably do it with like silver boxes, like Konami and stuff.
Sure,
Maybe something like that soon, but I don't know. I don't know. That was really fun, but that's also when I got reported, and I've been very hesitant ever since to like try it
sure.
again. So
I get
uh,
that. I had a really fun mystery show once where it was a Final Fantasy themed. Every game was Final Fantasy. I even had like Final Fantasy action figures and stuff like that that I bought that were just like giveaways. But I always love a themed mystery show, or if it's like all the same system or all the same um, like on an all Capcom show. That's really cool. Like I like those kind of shows because you're gambling, but it's also like they put some thought into it and they've made it a little more fun.
yeah, man. I think the next one I'm gonna do. I did all the mini boxes for Purple Capcom, and then I got all the carts already, and I've got probably half the Mannies, and then I've got all the Tenjin ones too. So I was like, man, I'm just gonna do a mini box collection of all of those. I want to get them all, but I literally decided today to go ahead and finally just complete them all.
Nice.
Actual boxes and stuff. I've got all the Mega Mans already, so that's easy. And then I got Darkwing Duck as of today, so some of the harder ones are already done. I did have a Snow Bros box, man, and I sold it. I probably should have
Oh,
just kept it. Um,
oh man.
and I still don't have the cart for Snow Bros, but I had the box somehow. But anyway, I was thinking about doing a surprise set using all my Purple Capcom carts and mini boxes. That'd be kind of
that
fun,
would
right?
that would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, there's still Ducktales 2 in there. There's a lot. Chippendale 2 is in there. There's a lot of good stuff in there.
Oh, nice.
For sure. I don't remember who got that box, Matt. And then, guys, in the chat as well, if you guys have any questions or anything y'all want us to talk about, drop them in there as well. We have been reading them the whole time. We haven't got to too many of them yet. But man, I did want to ask you about old Pawn and really looking for something very embarrassing if possible. But also just about your wedding experience with Pawn and all that. So
Yeah, so I've known Pon for a few years now. We actually met. I was buying video games off of Facebook Marketplace, and that's how I met Pon. And lo and behold, we live like 7 minutes from each other. So about 6 months ago, he's like, "Hey man, you want to be in my wedding?" And I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate the invite. I'm all for it. I'm down to clown." So fast forward to like couple weeks before the wedding, we have this group chat, and he's like, who's gonna give speeches at the wedding?" And I'm like, "I'm not really big on public speaking, so I'm gonna pass on that. That's not really my cup of tea." I get a message like 2 hours later. "Bro, what do you mean you're not gonna give a speech? You're my best man at the wedding." Like, best man? When did that become a thing? You didn't tell me I was best man. If I knew I was best man, I would have been doing a lot more. And he's like, "Oh, I must have forgot to tell you." Like, what the hell, bro? Like, you can't just just be like, "Oh, by the way, your best man, and you gotta give a speech." So, anyway, wedding was fantastic. His wife's gorgeous, fantastic venue. It was fantastic. My speech, I chat GPT'd it, bro. Like I didn't know what the hell to say. This is my first time meeting most of his extended family, and they're like, "Oh, your best man. How long have you known him?" I'm like, "A couple years," and he's like, "Well, I didn't know I was best man until today." Like I had to tell his mom at the rehearsal. I'm like, "I just want you to know, I didn't know I was best man, so don't be mad at me for not doing a bunch of stuff. I didn't know." And she was like, "That's Pawn." Like she's like, No worries. It is what it is. But yeah, no, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful event. Other than not knowing I was best man until basically the day of, it was awesome, and I was really really appreciative for being there. Um, and only pawn can have a like wedding in the church, and then the reception like an hour away.
Oh
It
wow.
was, yeah, it was the whole day, but it was awesome, and I couldn't have been happier for him. And I'm glad he's taking this vacation that he's taken because he needed it, man.
Yeah, man, it's been uh, a hard year. I think I know dude works really hard, so good dude overall. I remember my first, so it was interesting too. Talking about pawn, so you know, Matt. I used to go to Matt's show. Matt's show is the only show I knew about on Whatnot, like when I signed up or whatever. And I actually didn't even know about Whatnot. I saw a Chase After Right Price video, one video. I didn't even know who those guys were. I don't even know how it got in my YouTube, to be honest. And I saw it and they're like, get on Whatnot. I'm like, what the heck is Whatnot? So I just downloaded it. I'm like, maybe this is kind of cool. I was like, man, I really want to get my old Zelda 1 game back. Like, I really regretted selling my Zelda 1 and Zelda 2 a million years ago. And I've been playing them on the Switch, here and there. And dude, I got on there and I'm trying to remember whose show it was. Um, oh, I do remember whose show it was. He's still a streamer on here. But anyway, I bought Zelda 1 in a hotel room in Florida, in Miami. I had a presentation the next day in Miami, and I watched Whatnot till 4 o'clock in the morning because I was like enamored with what the hell's going on here.
Yeah,
Um, and I bought Zelda 1, and bro, my bank account hated me for the next like 3 months after that because that was way too easy. Um, and it just went boom, 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 boom like that. But then, I ran into Matt's room and I was like, this guy's pretty cool. I'm gonna bookmark his show. I'm gonna come watch it a few weeks. And then I got rated into Pawn, I think, from there. And then Pawn was really the second show I saw. That was the second one I'd ever really been in. And I like the way he talked, like
yeah,
he just got that mannerism too. And I was like, this dude here, man, he seems like the dude that's just like throwing darts and drinking beer, while he's doing a show. And I started buying a few things from him. I got my Game Boy Zelda in the box that's like mint condition. And
nice.
then I bought my Mega Man 3 with no banner on it, the CIB that doesn't have the writing on the banner
Oh
from him.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And
I remember that one.
those two will never leave the collection, which was really cool. But yeah, good dude, man. And it's interesting because I think Whatnot kind of has like cliques to an extent. Like there's this group that hangs out with this group, and
Yeah,
it's not like high school or anything like that. But I think people, they've got their people, for sure. And it's interesting because I think in Whatnot, 90% of folks that go in Pawn's room might go in Matt's room, or they might go into your room, or like it's really interesting to see who you see in each person's show. It'd be really cool to see more of that, like sellers and other seller shows that have never even been in a show before. And look, I'm kind of guilty of it too. I got to a point where I was streaming so much selling that I didn't even want to watch anymore. It's just too much Whatnot. But now it's getting to a point now where I watch a few new shows here and there, but man, it's rough out there. Like you start flipping through there, and
yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, this is terrible. I had a guy yesterday or the day before, I won't name any names, but 100 bookmarks, something like that. I was like, wow, dude did some marketing. Like, this is going to be pretty cool. I can't wait to see. Like, 30 minutes of trying to figure out how to list an item while live. And I'm like, what is
Ouch.
happening here? And like
Yeah.
I'm offering help and I'm offering help and I'm offering help. And he was like, dude, you don't want my help? I'm just gonna stop asking now. So and I left and I was like, man, this is terrible. But so it was a surprise set. It was like 100 items, first show, bad camera angle of the items. And dude, it started at like 9 in the morning. I turned it back on at 9 at night and they were still there. And I'm like, "Are you
Oof.
gonna draw this stuff or refund people?" Or
Yeah.
and, it was, man, Imma try to catch the night shift and this, that, and the other." I'm like, please let somebody help you, bro. Like this is
Yeah.
terrible. Just thrifting actually helped me out on my first show. Justin actually sent me. I just mentioned one time in one of the chats that I'm thinking about doing a show, and Justin actually reached out to me. He's like, "Hey man, I heard you're gonna do a show. Like, let me help you. Love to help or whatever." And I actually took him up on it. I was like, "Yeah, man, show me." And then Matt showed me a bunch of stuff as well, and um, kind of been with those guys from the beginning. But man, without like the support of other people to start selling, it's pretty hard. So if you guys are trying to start selling or you're thinking about it, I know there's a ton of collectors that are like, man, I probably should sell a few things too. Please reach out to somebody. Almost all the sellers are going to give you a hand and they want to help you. Nobody wants to see anybody do bad. And then public service announcement too, just something I've been thinking about a little bit lately as well. Like, I got real pissed off last night. I'm not gonna lie. I was in a show and something didn't go my way, and I got personally offended and left. And I started thinking about it. I was like, this is stupid. Like, don't be stupid. If somebody pisses you off or you don't like them or this, that, and the other, like make amends on it, man. It's better if we're all on one page versus us being against each other and all that different stuff.
100%, man. I'm on Whatnot because of Retro Rick. Like I used to see his advertisements all the time, and this was back when he was heavy on Whatnot. And so I was like, I'm gonna download this app. I'm gonna check it out. Just like you, get in there. Next thing you know, you're spending a few $100s with just the swipe of a button, and you're like, what the hell? Like I didn't know I was gonna spend this much so quickly.
Yeah,
And then it becomes the whatnot way. You're a buyer so much, you buy so much stuff that you now have to become a seller so you can get some of your money back to buy more stuff. That's how they get you.
yep.
But definitely understand the like click mentality. I've made a ton of friends on this app. I mean, I there are a few people I speak to every single day that I've met just on Whatnot. Um, and the cool thing with that is that you get that outside of the app friendship, and then hopefully that blossoms into continuing friendships, even finding other things in common and stuff like that. But yeah, there's quite a few people I speak to on a daily basis. Now when I started on Whatnot, not to be like back in my day it was all
It was
orange
back in your
pills,
day. You're a
but
dinosaur.
yeah, but back in my day when you had to start selling on Whatnot, there was onboarding where you had to do a join a video presentation on how to use the app, and there was your like point of contact. You do like a chat with a bunch of other sellers that are brand new, and then you would learn how to do it. You also had to send pictures of your inventory and all that stuff to get approved. Now it's like a 5-minute PowerPoint presentation on the app. So you click, you know, boom, 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 you're approved to sell. So I can see where the quality, not everybody, but I can see where the quality where some new sellers isn't as where isn't there because there's nobody there to like walk them through it. They literally just watched a short video and they're thrown to the wolves. So it is awesome to have people like you said to be able to help you out, especially if you're new. Because eh, I mean the UI on the app is pretty cool. Like it's very self-explanatory, but when you're live in front of a bunch of people, it's hard to try and figure out the app while you're trying to sell for the first time. But it's cool to have somebody there to be able to help you out. And there are a ton of people where you could go into somebody's room and you could see the camaraderie where everybody's trying to help each other out. But then you go into like people's rooms and you kind of don't see that sometimes. So you can kind of weed the good and the bad out that way. But like for example, I always love the fact like if I'm having a show and I don't have something that somebody is looking for, there's a bunch of sellers in the chat. Somebody, if you have it, throw that out there. Let's get this guy something. Because at the end of the day, everybody's just looking to buy something. And if I don't have it and you do, then hell, man, get that money.
Yeah, man. Rebel got booted out of somebody's show for that. He's like, somebody asked for something. He's like, "Oh, I know Bob has it, since you don't have it or whatever." And dude's like, "You're out of here." And then Matt went in there to talk shit to him, and I was just watching, eating popcorn. I'm like, I'm about to pop some popcorn because when Matt's Retro World gets mad, this is the best day of the week. But we did have a question from the chat from JT James. Are there any days that are just not worth it on here?
So for me, I would say, at least in the morning, Tuesdays and Thursdays are not really good for me. I always try to focus on paydays. People get paid Friday,
Hmm,
they still have money Saturday, they might still have money Monday. Tuesday, they're waiting to get paid again. Wednesday, they might get paid early, so that's not a bad day. But Tuesdays and Thursdays always seem to be that like in between for me. Um, I'll
hmm.
say that though, and sometimes I'll have a banging Tuesday. But I always try to focus on paydays. Like I came from like a retail establishment, and I'm always like, all right, so I know people get paid X X X. Those are the days I focus on. Beginning of the month is always a big deal. I always try to focus on those. But yeah, for me, Tuesdays and Thursdays aren't really my deal. But you also got to see who's live, because if you're trying to compete with somebody with 400 people in the room, and you know it's you don't really have a hook, or you don't have something that's like gonna bring people in, it's a little difficult. But I'd rather have, I'd rather have a room with 10 people and 10 buyers than 400 people and 10 buyers. So
That's true, man. I don't. I got a bad strategy, but it seems to work somehow for me. I just stopped. I just stopped scheduling shows. Like I don't even schedule shows. I literally just I so I work all day, you know, and then I get home and I spend time with the family until the kids go to bed. And then if I still have enough energy to come back here, I come back here. And then if I don't, I just don't. So what I have learned though is I cannot do more than 2 days in a row till back here till 2 o'clock in the morning. I learned that the hard way this week. I've learned that lesson 4 or 5 times, but I'm just pretty hard headed about it. I'm like, ah, man, I can do it every night. Yeah, at some point, your body, when you're not, as I was called old twice in my show the other day, you just can't. You got to sleep at some point.
yeah,
So, but like, yeah,
I get that
we'll
for
be on
sure.
late. We'll be on late tonight, and we'll just try to make up for it tomorrow. But dude, I love it, man. I've told this story in one of the horse talks early on, but I probably didn't articulate it very well. And I'm from restaurant company, so I've been in restaurants, working in restaurants my entire life. Um, since high school, and I had a lot of responsibility for a long time. I had 22 restaurants and 1,000 employees essentially that reported to me. And bro, it was 24/7. Like I was up every night. Like it was like it's like being a surgeon but not being paid like one. That was probably the way I describe it. And then I moved out of that a few years ago into more of a Monday through Friday, 8 to 6, 8 to 5:30 type deal. And I just felt like I wasn't like, I don't know, I wasn't burning the candle at both ends. I didn't know what to do with myself. And I started selling on Whatnot and it started filling some of that void, I think, with time. It's like I almost wanted to be challenged a little bit. And I still
Sure.
feel like that. I like to be busy, man. I don't want to just like sit on the couch. I can't do it. So come home, play with the kids, eat dinner with everybody, and then come back here and talk shit all night, try to sell some stuff, and just play around with it. But I love it. I love that component of actually being able to interact with people. I don't really care if we sell a lot of stuff one way or another. Um, that's not my goal in here. My goal is kind of simple: enjoy it, grow it if we can, and don't lose money. Like I'm okay even breaking even, but don't lose money.
Sure.
That was a tough first 6 months. I was losing a lot of money because I just it wasn't I didn't know what to do, just had to learn this business and learn the ebbs and flows of seasons. I didn't realize there was seasons in gaming, but it's actually almost identical to seasons in restaurants, which I should have known, like you said, from retail background, there are seasons
Yeah.
to it. Uh, and it was definitely a hard learning curve. So that's why I say if you're newer or you're thinking about it, like ask people, watch these podcasts. We've had sellers on here a bunch. Like they're all on YouTube. You can go watch them on Horse Talk Game Cabin and learn something from these guys. And look, you don't have to do what they're doing to be successful either. That's the other part. Emulation will only get you so far. Your show's going to have an attitude to it. And if you're trying to be somebody else, people see through that so quick and they're not going to watch that show. Um, so find your own thing.
Absolutely. I mean, that's another thing too, is that you'll see, sometimes you'll see new sellers and they'll come in and they'll try to exactly emulate somebody else to the point where you might as well just watch the original show.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely finding like your own thing and what works for you, it goes a long way. And that's another thing. Like when I first started on whatnot, I had the full time job, so I was only streaming once a week. But I would stream, and I would go in, man. I'd start at 9:30 at night. I'd stream to 2, 3 in the morning. Now I'm like, after an hour or two, I'm like, I don't know if I can keep going. I don't have the stamina. I don't know how I had more stamina when I was working full time or full time plus whatnot than just switching to full time on whatnot. But I mean, sticking with it is key. You know, you might have a slow first hour and then things pick up, and you're going crazy. Or like that one show I did where it was a pop up because somebody told me I wasn't as good as I used to be. So I was like, I'll show you.
Ah,
And
that's
I
nice.
was like, yeah, popped up at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, here we're doing dollar starts, boys. We're giving the house away. That was probably my most successful show I've had in the last like 3 months. So pop ups sometimes just it just works. I mean, you never know. So if it's not working for you one day, might work for you the next, but just stick with it and lean on people and there's opportunity for whatnot to really, really be life changing for some people, especially when you unlock instant pay after selling 1,000 items. Like for me, when I first started, when I reached that goal, I was like, this is fantastic because now as soon as I sell, I can take that money, reinvest, buy something else, and keep going. And that's how you kind of just get that ball rolling.
Yeah, man. I remember that. The waiting a week and a half, sometimes
Yeah.
even long. I still wish instant pay was like, hey, it's sold and it's in my bank account that
Mm.
second. That would be legit. But I know they're waiting on credit card processing and all that stuff. It definitely makes sense on that. Somebody asked a question about what's the best seasons for reselling in this space, and then like what's the worst.
So for me, it's kind of just like retail. When it comes to busy parts, Q4. October, November, December, things are flying off the shelves. People are trying to get gifts for people. So that's your best season. Then it slows down a little bit in the beginning until tax season, and then tax season comes, everybody's got money again. So I mean, it kind of just flows with the market. I mean, but it's always going to be the busiest in quarter 4, and it's for me always the slowest. Sometimes in back to school, summer months. Um, and that's kind of what it is. But you can always find a way to overcome obstacles depending on the season by finding other things to sell. Like if you've got one niche that's awesome, don't be afraid to branch out. Like I'll go to Goodwill and I'll look at everything. Like I might be a predominantly electronics and video game reseller, but shoot, if I find an item I can flip for $100, I don't care what it is, I'm gonna buy it.
So I remember the story about Pawn finding the sealed game. I believe it was probably in a pawn shop or thrift store or something. You were there. Apparently, you walked past that thing. Uh, are you guys competitive? Like, do y'all compete against each other a little bit?
We do. And then we'll do like the "this sold for this amount" screenshot where we're like throwing it back and forth. But the problem is, man, and I'm not putting this out here, he's like 6'4". I'm 5'7". He can see things on the top shelf that I can't see. And yeah, he found that he was like, dude, you walked right by it. I'm like, bro, I couldn't see up there if I had a ladder. So like good for you. But yeah, we're totally competitive. Um, and I always like to throw in his face that like I referred him to whatnot. Like I sent him my referral link and he didn't use it. So I never got my $200 for referring him.
uh,
And and I like to throw that in his face a few times, but he's helped me out on quite a few things with finding lots and stuff because he is really good at sourcing. I would say one of the better ones at sourcing out of most of the resellers that I know. And there are times where he'll throw me a bone every now and again. I think it's because I bring up the fact that he didn't use my referral link. But yeah, there's a little bit of competitiveness there. And because we're so close, we always overlap on finding things. But like he's a man that will drive an hour, 2 hours to pick up something. Um, I'm not doing that. Like I like to stay in my like little buffer zone. And I'll buy more online to flip than pick something up locally. But yeah, there's definitely some competitiveness there and overlap because we're so close.
I got a buddy locally as well. Like I see a marketplace item and I message somebody and they're like, I'm already talking to somebody. Then I flip it, I flip the screenshot to my buddy. I'm like, it's you, you bastard, huh? And he's like, you know it. He's so much better at me local sourcing as well. So I really network as much as I can. Um, for sure, man. It's interesting. Some people have a knack for that. And it's really, really interesting to watch how people source items. But man, to me, it's like, what's the key to actually doing okay. And look, I'm only a year in, a little over a year now. So I'm not going to say I figured it out or anything like that, but it's all about sourcing. It's about sourcing and how much you get these good items for and what you can sell them for to make people happy. You had mentioned it earlier in the show. It's critical. You know, it's critical. So if you're going to have any kind of long standing, you either have better have a collection from when you were a kid and you paid nothing for it back then, or you better be very clever in how you get your items today. Another question came up from the chat about repros, and you know, what's your thoughts on repros? Have you run into a lot of issues with them, particularly Pokemon ones? I've got my opinions on. I'm curious what yours are.
So, from a selling standpoint, I do not carry them. I do not sell them. I won't even list them because for me, that takes away from the authentic items that I do carry. It gives people a little bit of a doubt. As far as using them, I mean, I've come across Pokemon repros. I'm sure you have. Everybody has all the
Mhm,
time in lots. One thing I do like is I'll keep like a shell, for example, I had a Pokemon Leaf Green repro. I kept it around because you never know when you need the shell for something. Like I'll get a good game in, but the label's torn, the label's ripped, and I'll include that repro shell with the original game. I'll be like, look, here's the original game, here's the shell. I'm going to sell them both together. So I do like that aspect sometimes for replacements. But usability, they're always going to be flawed. Maybe they're not going to save correctly, or they will eventually fail because the boards are cheap knockoffs. There are some really, really, really good fakes in everything. I mean, even with like Pokemon cards and stuff, people out there are faking anything. So it's just best to do your due diligence. I've always joked that I want to make a keychain with a game bit adapter, and so that people can bring that with them when they go to pick up games, just have it readily available to open up and check carts. Um, but I am of the like restoring aspect. If I've got a game where the label's messed up, sometimes I'll throw it in a new shell and put a new reproduction label on it. As long as it's identified that way,
mhm.
um, I think that's cool. But as far as like reproductions and selling reproductions, definitely not cool for like longevity of the item. Yeah, it might work right now, but it's not going to work as long as the original.
Yeah, man, I'm still getting them in. Sometimes pictures you just can't tell, blurry pictures, whatever. I dabble in N64 a lot, and you know, if I can see the front and the back and I have time to actually like look at it, I'll do it. But like I bought something the other day, it was like 30 something carts with a console, and there's a fake Resident Evil 2. You know, I didn't see the
Yeah.
back of it. I could only see the front in a blurry ass picture. So hard to say. I mean, like they're super easy to spot if you can see, you know, close up or see the back. It's not a big deal to spot them. Pokemon, I'm very much with the person that made the comment. Unless I'm 100% sure, I don't buy it. I saw one the other day that the board underneath on a leaf green did have the Nintendo markings on the board. It was a fake. I've been looking at the back of the board a lot. Usually the back of the board without the little four squares or whatever, top left or whatever. Um, But really and truly, I just pull up a real image and kind of look at some of those. The fronts are always too shiny on them, but GBA and stuff, man, like I feel like I'm past that. It took me a little bit. DS, DS can be tough. So I know it's got to have the little top flap or whatever on it, the little
Yeah, there's a notch.
finger spot notch. Um, I had one the other day. I don't remember which one it was exactly, but if you hold it up to the sunlight, it was it was like maroon colored in the sun, like the actual shell and stuff.
Yeah, heart
Uh,
gold or soul silver or white
yeah, I
or
think
black.
it was both of them. I had both of them. I had a loose heart gold and I had a CIB soul silver. Um, yeah, my soul silver, man, it was another experience that made me question why I resell. I had a mint condition, big box, Soul Silver, all the everything, baggies,
Yeah.
Pokey Walker, everything, 100%. Didn't have a scratch on it. I sold it on the bay right at price charting. I think it was like $420 or something like that. I mailed it off. Guy had it for 3.5 weeks and then said it was defective and it smelled like smoke. Uh, I had no choice. eBay made me take it back. Didn't even have a choice in it. Got it back. Has zero smell to it whatsoever. Like I'm sensitive to smoke. I had asthma as a kid. Like I couldn't be around it. I'm like my
Sure.
nose is like in it. Like I smell nothing. He said the game didn't play. I put it straight in my DS Lite. Game pops right up. I
Ugh,
was actually very hesitant because I'm like, this guy's going to put a repro in this box. He's going to put a repro in this box, and I'm gonna get it back, and I'm gonna get screwed. But it wasn't, dude. He actually sent the game back and everything. So my suspicion is either he said he moved. It's either he needed the money right now and maybe he never even opened the box, but he put a plastic protector on it, which was a little odd because I didn't have a plastic protector. I
huh.
think he played the game, beat the game, and then sent it back to me.
Treated you like Blockbuster.
Yeah, dude. I was like, it was crazy. So anyway, I had this game for like another month, and every time I looked at it, I got aggravated. So I finally just reached out to old Al Pal, and I was like, dude, can you at least like get me in the green on this? And we made a deal, and I sent it off, and I was happy that it was gone, and they were happy they got it, and
Nice.
whatever. We'll see what it could probably go for 500 bucks on their show. But yeah, dude, it was a miserable experience, and you really have that moment of helplessness. You can't do anything about it, and they're gonna make you refund that 400 something dollars, and hopefully the box doesn't get beat up or whatever else. And I talked to some buddies that have been doing it a lot longer than me, and they're like, "Look, it's kind of the price of doing business." I'm like, "Well, I don't want to do business like this. This is terrible." So
Yeah. How old is your eBay account?
my eBay account was opened in 2003.
Okay. Then
Yeah,
mine's
it's
from
old.
2000.
It's old.
My
Yeah,
mine's from 2005, but
yeah,
you beat me.
yeah.
But I've noticed like thankfully I haven't really had too much of that with eBay, but I've heard horror stories like that, and eBay definitely is pro buyer for a lot of things. Um, what my favorite sales on eBay are the international ones because once they're gone and they hit the hub,
Yep.
they're gone. But yeah,
Yeah.
that sucks. But at least you got the free plastic protector.
Yeah, dude. I put it this way, when I said that refund, I'm like, I'm 100% getting screwed here. There's no way this is coming back in decent condition, not swapped out for a repro, something. And sure enough, I got it back. Dude, I looked at the original pictures and I'm like examining them like next to each other, like phone in this hand, box in this hand. And I'm
Sure.
like, if I find one scratch on this thing that's not right, I'm gonna raise hell. But there's nothing you can do as a seller. They're not gonna side with you on it. They said it was defective. That's the problem. So
Mm,
not trying to give people tips on how to do whatever, but like you can't argue defective, which is a problem. Maybe you can. I was unsuccessful in it. So um yeah, that was part of it. Somebody did ask, and I know we'll wrap up here in just a little bit, but like somebody did ask as well, like, is there a particular console that's like your favorite or that you collect for specifically?
so I actually don't have a collection, surprisingly enough.
Okay.
Um, because I told myself when I went full time, if I collected anything, I wouldn't sell it, and then if I didn't sell it, then I wouldn't make any money, and then I couldn't do it full time. So I don't have a collection, but um, I love kart-based games. The Super Nintendo is my system. I love the Super Nintendo more than probably any other system next to the PlayStation 2. There are certain games that I'll always pick up and I love to test, like Batman Returns for the Super Nintendo. Abso-freaking-lutely love that game. I will test that game. That'll be my test game if I'm modding a PSP, if I've picked up a Super Nintendo or a Retron or whatever. I always love playing that side-scrolling beat 'em up. Um, but if I were to, collect anything, it probably would be for the Super Nintendo. There are some times where I'll hold on to a piece for a while. Like, I had a, complete in the box Super Mario World,
Oh
and
wow.
I won that on a mystery stream. It was the only time I ever hit a ceiling, and I held on to that sucker for, like, 6 months, and I'm like, "I wanna keep this," but at some point, I always end up needing the money for something else. So, that one was a little hard to let go. But I do love Super Nintendo. I do love the way the boxes look, and for me, just like opening up an old cardboard game. Some of them have that like distinct smell that just brings you back. And I
Mold.
love that. Yeah. Well, yeah, yeah.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Sometimes.
Just kidding. I got one time that was like that. I'm like, oh Lord. All right. But yeah, dude, it's yeah, I never had a Super Nintendo. I've talked
Oh,
about this
really?
like 5 times. I didn't have a Super Nintendo. I was a Genesis kid. I had an NES. Well, I had an Atari, and I played Tank like in Pong like once, and then my Atari disappeared, and I never saw it again. Don't know what my parents did with it. Have no idea where it went. It just freaking disappeared. About a week later, the NES showed up for Christmas, and my first game for NES was Mario Duck Hunt, and then I got
Same.
and then they got me Mario 2. That was my second game, and then for my birthday, I got Zelda 2. Then I got Zelda 1 after, which was weird. So dude, Zelda 2, look, I have a fascination with this game. I love it. It was the first game I played on stream and like beat it in here. And then people were like, "Oh, I like watching play the games or whatever. It's cool." Um, I don't know if people still feel that way, but it's fun for me because this is my downtime, and sometimes I just want to play a
Right.
game.
Sure.
Um, but man, I played Zelda 2 on and off for at least 15 years and couldn't beat it. Didn't know how to beat it. I never had a magazine. I didn't even know you could go get a magazine that would tell you how to beat it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Uh, I would get to Ganon's castle and there'd be like that force field or whatever. And I'm like, how do I get through this? Like, I try to run the ferry through it and I die like over and over and over. And I was just missing something simple. Like, it was one thing I was missing that was simple that, it's one of those games that you have to walk every pixel of the game to like find what's going
Yeah.
on. And bro, I picked it back up. I moved to Mississippi for work back in 2012, I want to say. Moved to Mississippi and I didn't know anybody out there. So I worked all day. I got home, just me and my wife. I'm like, I'm gonna play freaking Zelda 2 and I'm gonna beat it. It has a 30-year-old now. And of course, I started Googling. Like I got to the same point. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I started going through a walkthrough, and they had that one bullet point, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. That's what I was missing. And then I beat it, and I'm like, oh my God, that was like 25 years of agony
Oh,
trying to
man.
figure it out, dude. I still love it. I love that game. People hate that game. I have a fascination with it. I had to get like true grit to like finally get through it. And look, I did have to cheat. But you know what my other game was that I had when I was a kid that was just like it? Simon's Quest. I never had Castlevania 1 or 3. I had Simon's Quest. And also, if you don't have help, good luck because
Yeah.
who knows to put on a red crystal at the guy's lake to talk to the damn dude at the ferry that puts you to another place that looks just like the other place. Who knows to walk up to the lake and duck down for 20 seconds and let the screen go. Like, who the fuck knows this stuff? Like,
Right.
nobody's gonna do this. And bruh, I just recently beat that game. I never beat it. I beat it like a year ago. And then I played Castlevania 3 on stream, dude. It took me 3.5 months.
Oh,
I
man.
only played as the dude with the whip. I don't know if it's Trevor or which one it was, but I didn't switch to the other character. I didn't want to. And Yeah, 3.5 months of people watching me just try it over and over and over. I only played it once a week, but dude, it was tough. But now I feel like I kind of have a bond with that game too. So
Sure.
I I kind of like to suffer through games. Is that I don't know if that's weird or not. I kind of enjoy that.
No, I mean, I think, especially with the older games, they're more rewarding because of how difficult they are. And sometimes, like, you do need help. Like, we went back and played, we did Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, so it was Final Fantasy 1 through 6. So we sat down and we're like, we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're gonna go in order. Dude, I couldn't beat one without looking with for some help.
Yeah.
There's so much shit to just walk around and like you're like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, you know? So I get that, but it's definitely rewarding. I do like playing, especially sometimes on Whatnot, just playing some games, because I give it to these Twitch streamers where they can like read a chat and play a video game at the same time. You know, it's difficult, but I like getting roasted. Like I played the Bouncer for PS2, and we were rolling. I was so cocky in that game. I'm like, I'll beat this game in like 2 hours because it's easy. I got to one part, I just kept getting my ass kicked. I think I died like 20 times in a row, and chat was just giving me shit. And they were like, well, at least you're watching me and we're sticking with it. And I finally did it, and I was like, yeah, see, I told you I was good at this game. Now I'll just edit out the part where it took me so long to beat it.
Yeah, that's fine. I've never checked out Twitch. I feel like it's I don't know. I'm like an old dog. I don't want to learn any new tricks with it. But yeah, I like playing on stream. I did play on stream one time to help a friend out. The friend is here right now, so his phone overheated. So I was like, co-host me, and I'll play a game while your phone's cooling off.
Oh, I love that.
So I started playing Turtles in Time. I'd never played this game before. This dude's like, "You suck." He's like, "You're terrible." I'm like, who what like okay yeah I'm terrible, I've never played it before. And that's the only time I ever got roasted playing a game. I remember it. I talked shit about it for like 3 weeks following that. I'm like, I literally tried to just play the game, pass some time. I got told I suck. So yeah, it was all good. But any final topics from the crowd or from you, man? Anything else on your mind?
Well, I was gonna say with Twitch, so Super Mario World is like my favorite game of all time. I can pick up and play that game at any time. Well, there are streamers that do different ROM hacks, and I love watching that stuff. I can watch somebody play a ROM hack for Super Mario World till I don't know hours. And like I'll see them do these cool moves, shell jumps, and all this other stuff, and then I'll try and play the ROM hack, and I can't get past first part, and I'm like, man, I wish like I had some of that skill set. But Mario Maker, when that came out, was a big deal. Like me and I think my daughter was 2 or 3 at the time. We were going to become YouTube streamers, so like we started playing that game on YouTube. And I go back and I look, and I'm like, man, she could have been awesome if it wasn't for having to actually go to school and learn real stuff. She could have been an esports champion, man. But, it's just cool watching people do stuff that either I can't do or I don't have the time or patience to do. So, I think, like, I have, like I really like seeing people, play certain things that I know I can't do or won't have the time to learn the skill set to do it.
Yeah, dude. I was a Mario 2 guy. I love Mario. I loved all the weird games, man. Zelda 2, Mario 2, Castlevania 2. It was all the second ones that everybody hated were the ones I liked the most. It's all what I had, you know? It's the only games I had. I remember renting Life Force like 50 times at the gas station across the street. We had a rent house. We lived in a rent house when I was a kid. Our house, my dad was building a house uh, when I was younger, and we stayed in this rent house for about a year. And there's a gas station across the street. Well, in Louisiana, gas stations have everything. There's a rental store in it. There's like a deli. There's an old lady cooking burgers. And look, right by my house, I got three gas stations within a mile of my house. They all have full delis, the best fried chicken, burgers, whatever you want, man. Po' boys,
Oh,
whatever
man.
you want. Um, but my gas station also had a rental store. And dude, every Friday, my mom would walk with us across the street. We literally looked both ways. It was a highway. We walk across the highway, And I would walk in there and I'm like crossing my fingers, like, please have life force, please have life, because I only had 8 games, right? So because it was a gas station. And bro, I see that life force, I'm like, oh yeah, it's on all weekend. It's on all weekend. And I that's a hard game, bro. That is a hard game. I don't know if you played it through completion without a game genie or anything. That is a very, very difficult game.
No, I've never beaten that one. One of the hardest NES games for me was Mario 2, but it was the Lost Levels, the one that was supposed to be the original Mario 2, but they
Mhm.
said was too hard for the American audience. I beat that game, and I will never play that game again. That game kicked my ass and caused so much frustration. But when I
Yeah.
finally beat it, I took a screenshot. I said, "I did it. I've done it. I'm never gonna do it again."
Yeah, Matt just beat that game as well. He was talking about it. I've only played the first level on it. And it was pretty tough. I guess I'll have to pick it up at some point. There was a question in the chat of what the gas station was. It was just past People's Road on the left, Chevron, right across from that yellow deli station thing, whatever. So you go find it. This is a local person talking to me here. They know where this is at. So
Love it.
uh, cool. Well, look, man, we're at about an hour and a half. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you so much for coming on Horse Talk, man. It was great talking to you, get to know you a little bit better as well. We'll definitely send you a Horse Talk T-shirt. So just
Sweet.
shoot me your size and some info on that. And great talking to you. Great stories tonight. Everybody, you guys, if you just caught it at the end, you can find this episode on YouTube, Game Cabin Horse Talk. And I think we have 9 episodes today. This one will be uploaded probably on Monday or Tuesday. And thanks so much, man. I hope you have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. And if you ever want to have me again, let me know, man. I loved it and I appreciate it. And this is awesome.
Sounds good. We'll have you on to play some games, man. Maybe we do horseplay. That's another little
Oh,
show where we do a little gaming competition. So yeah, let's get it
cool.
scheduled, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good, man. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you.